Welcome to the Wargaming Garage and this 2000 point match play game between Death Guard and Sisters of Battle. So on the plains that are outside the main city on Orpheus's Haven, there is this industrial area where they're pulling God knows what out of the ground, but it's this battle grid where the Sisters would try to put a stop to the advance of the Heralds of the Scourge warband. The mission that we rolled for today is Frontline Warfare, which is a hold 1, hold 2, hold more mission, with I believe the secondary is Vital Ground. So you'll be looking for 2 victory points if you hold that, 2 victory points if you hold that, a single victory point if you hold it within your deployment zone, but you're looking at 3 victory points if you hold the objective marker. You see it peeking out behind the rock there in the opponent's objectives deployment zone. So that's what we rolled for, that's what we got. So it's slightly different, and normally when I do tables, more often than not they are city or industrial based. This is the first time I've ever really tried doing anything in terms of an outdoor kind of rocky, more natural scenario. So tried to include some dents up at one end with the trees, and obviously some line of sight blocking with the large units there, large bits of brick rocks there, and we'll class this whole bit in the middle here as kind of what it is. We've got difficult ground to get over. There is some line of sight blocking when you're down in front of the table. So that's the plan for today. So with all that said, it's a 2000 point mission. So let's go on to the armies. So here is just under 2000 points of Sisters of Battle. These are from the Order of the Burning Shield, otherwise known by themselves as the Black Watch. At some point I may go and do a sort of army introduction video, giving them a bit of background and lore, which they have actually got, but not just yet. In a few games under the belt first. So start off with HQs. The warlord for today is the Canoness, and she has the warlord trait, the Righteous Rage. So she can re-roll the hit roll and re-roll the wound roll in melee. She's got the relic, the Quicksilver Veil, so she can add 3 to her movement, and you subtract 1 from any attacks against her. She has the Blessing, Rapturous Blows, so you add 1 to the strength and damage characteristics of all her melee weapons, and then once a battle you get to do the Miraculous ability, which basically gives any unit within miracle range unmodified wound rolls of 6 will inflict a mortal wound in addition. So if we can get her into combat, she can be a bit of a beat stick. Backing her up today is a Palatine. She's got a CP spent on her for the Saint in the Making, so she's been given Indomitable Belief, so they get all units within 6 get +1 to their Shield of Faith rolls. She's also been given a Blessing, the Emperor's Grace, so she regains D3 wounds at the start of each command phase, and her Miraculous ability is with units within miracle range of her, the opponent cannot re-roll the hit, wound or damage roll, so a debuff to enemy units around her during melee or ranged combat if depending on where they are. Also within an elite's choice, but it has also been upgraded with a CP, is the Imagifier. So she's been given, again, the Saint in the Making, and she now has the Tale of the Faithful. So core units within 6 inches can re-roll advance and charge rolls, and Tale of the Warrior and core units within 6 add 1 to their strength. So she's also been given the Beacon of Faith, so she gets to roll her own miracle dice at the start of the command phase, but she must use it by the end of the turn. So in addition to that, and moving on to Elite's choices, we've got 2 squads of Sacrosancts, all with halberds and the spear for the superior. We then have a squad of Repentia with a Repentia superior. For the fast attack slots, we've got 2 squads of Seraphim, all just with bolt pistols. We then also, for heavy support, have a squad of Retributors with 2 melters, a flamer and a heavy bolter, and the superior has a power maul. We then also have 2 exorcists, and we then also have an immolator with multi-melters, and in our troop slots we have 3 squads of Battle Sisters. So the Battle Sisters, we have 2 squads of 10 and a squad of 5. And the squad of 10 will have heavy flamers and the storm bolters, but otherwise they're all pretty cookie cutter kind of loadouts. In addition, we're also running a spearhead detachment, and in that spearhead detachment we have 3 penitent engines, and we have another canoness with a condemner bolt gun and a power sword. In the battalion carrying some of the troops, we just have a rhino. So that comes in at, I believe it was 1998 points on the nose. So all that said, let's move on to the Death Guard. As per the last outing for the Death Guard, the Warlord again today is Captain Trips. If I can afford to take him, he is always the Warlord. And he's carrying the Man Reaper and the Orb of Desiccation. He has the pathogen of unstable sickness, so each time an attack is made with this weapon, if any enemy models are destroyed, on a roll of d6, on a 4 up, that model unit also suffers a mortal wound to a maximum of 3 mortal wounds. He has the relic, the suppurating plate, so again, if he loses a wound on a roll of d6 on a 2 up, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. I think they've changed that in since the last codex, where it's just the 1. It's not on every roll of a 2 up. He has the Warlord trait Arch Contaminator, so friendly units, core units within 6 can re-roll a wound roll for melee or ranged attacks if they're within 12 inches. Backing him up today is the Malignant Plague Caster, and again he's had the upgrade, so he knows 3 powers, which will be Curse of the Leper, Miasma of Pestilence and Putrescent Vitality, which also with his the stick allows him to, the relic allows him to gain D3 mortal wounds back once a battle. So in addition, in the elite slot we have the Foul Blightspawn, and again he's had a slight upgrade, so he has the pathogen Viscous Death, so every time he rolls for his number of shots he can re-roll it, and obviously he has everything else that goes with it, so the selecting the enemy unit to fight last, etc, etc. So in addition to those in the elite slots, we have a squad of 3 Death Shroud Terminators, the champions had an upgrade for the Reaper of Entropy, whatever it's called. So he gets the extra damage, but otherwise they're as they are. We have a squad of Blightlord Terminators, one with the Blight Launcher, one with the Flail, and as they are, so whether they've got a sword, whether they've got combi bolters, that's the squad. For fast attack, we've got 2 bloke drones with plague spewers. We then have, in heavy support, we've got 2 plague burst crawlers, again with plague spewers. Because again, this is what they're modelled with. I try not to if I can help it. And then we've got 3 squads of plague marines. So 1 squad here with a blight launcher and a cleaver. The champion with a power fist and a bolter. The next squad along, again, power fist and plasma pistol. Then we have a blight launcher and a flail. And the last squad, because I couldn't get a squad of 7 in because of points, it's just a standard squad, and the champion is what the champion is. He has no power fist or anything, it's just a standard squad, but the special weapons, plasma gun. And then for some objective holding, we have a squad of poxwalkers. To carry some of the troops, we then have a rhino. So all in all, that's again just under, I believe, 2,000 points of Death Guard. So you've seen the armies, let's move on to deployment. I've tried to even out the areas. So again, frontline warfare, it's the long edge of the board, of the table that you're going up against each other. Again, tried to make sure there is line of sight blocking where it needs to be, and to try and give everything a pretty even feel to it. So for the purposes of this, I tend to use the smaller dice for the Death Guard and the red dice for the Sisters of Battle. So let's roll off. And it's the Sisters. So have a think about where we want to deploy, and we'll move on from there. Okay, so here we are after deployment. Where the Death Guard had this end and the Sisters of Battle had the opposite side. So where the Death Guard deployed, they've gone Plague Burst Crawlers and the Blight Lords down one flank, holding the centre with the Poxwalkers. Then they've castled up over on the right hand side flank with the 2 bloke drones, the Rhino with a squad of Plague Marines with the plasma gun in it and the Foul Blight Spawn. They've got the Death Shroud, the Captain, and a couple of squads of Plague Marines. The Malignant Plague Casters also on this right hand side flank. So crossing to the Sisters, or the Immolator on the right hand side with the Retributor squad inside, and a squad of Battle Sisters. Got a Rhino with a Repentia in it and an Exorcist. We've then got the Canoness, a squad of Sacrosancts, Palatine, Imagifier, another squad of Sacrosancts, another squad of Battle Sisters, the smaller squad of Battle Sisters, the Canoness for the Spearhead, the Penitent Engines, and the Exorcist. So again, we're looking for a bit of mobility over here, but trying to protect it with the -1 to hit through the dents. Try and castle up a little bit in the middle, see what we can do to protect this objective. There's nothing in Deep Strike for the Death Guard, but Deep Strike for the Sisters will be the Seraphim. So Death Guard toyed around with putting something in Deep Strike, but with the amount of Sisters that are out there on it, then I just felt like there's going to be not much chance there's every chance of them being screened out quite effectively with the sheer number of models. So we'll see whether that's a mistake or not. So we're all deployed. You've seen the armies, so let's see who goes for first turn. Death Guard, turn 1. Death Guard have got the turn 1. Before we start going into those movement phases, etc., just go over the secondaries. So for the Death Guard, we're going to go for the mission objective, which is vital ground. So additional points for the objective markers you hold in no man's land or the opponent's deployment zone. We're going to go for assassinate because of the number of characters, and we're going to go for engage on all fronts because we have got a little bit of speed with these bloat drones. The sisters are also going to go for engage on all fronts because they're played as Argent Shroud, so they get to advance with and shoot with no penalty. And then we're going to go for bring it down because we've got 5 vehicles in the Death Guard roster. So we've got some, and 2 of those are over 12 points, so 12 wounds. So we've got some good chance of points there, and we'll also go for vital ground to hold those mid-board objectives and try and push through to that deployment zone objective for our opponent. So there we go. That's our secondaries for both armies. So on to Death Guard, turn 1. So after the command phase and the movement phase for the Death Guard, the Plague Burst Crawlers have shuffled a little bit. The Blight Lord Terminators have advanced around here. The Pox Walkers have just shuffled out a little bit, just trying to start to screen areas around the central objective. There's a bit of movement from the Plague Marines. And then on this flank up here, both the bloat drones and the Rhino advanced over that objective and starting to try and fortify it if they can. There's a fair old amount of wounds to get through there. But with everything advancing or being out of range, because the flamers are only 12-inch on these bloat drones, and through dents and whatnot, the only things that are really going to fire will be the Plague Burst Crawlers. So having to think about target priority really on these Plague Burst Crawlers, and I think first off, the first one will be the Immolator here because it's got the Retributor squad in it. So and with a squad of Battle Sisters next to it. I'm debating whether that's the one I'm going to put the Disgusting Force onto, or whether, because the other Blade Burst Core is going to go into the Exorcist at the centre there, because anything within a certain amount of inches will do a mortal wound on a 4-up. So with Sacrosancts there, the Canoness there, the Rhino there, I think the Disgusting Force is going to go into the Exorcist, and the Standard will go into the Immolator. So number of shots for the Immolator is for 2. 1 hit. Wounds, but it saves, so that Immolator's safe. So the Disgusting Force being spent on that, so the drops the Death Guard to 9 CP. 6 shots over here. Could be Dead Exorcist if we play our cards right. Okay, so 4 hits, 3 to wound, re-rolling the ones. Oh my goodness, okay. That's a very good point. I did not roll the miracle dice. Too late, I'll do it in a minute. Oof, okay. I say so good saving there by both the Exorcist and the Immolator, no damage done. But we need to roll for the Rhino, the Sacrosancts and the Canoness are all within 3 inches. So for the Rhino, gets 1 mortal wound. I say it doesn't go off, it got me on a 4-up. On a 4-up on the Sacrosancts and a 4-up on the Canoness. No. So a bit of a bust really by the and that will be the turn for the Death Guard. So just going to see what is, if anything, over the line for engaging on front. I don't think they are, because it's just literally the tip of this hull. So whilst we're in this quarter and we're in this quarter, we're not in 3, so we don't get engaged on fronts, but we do hold 1 for vital ground. We haven't killed anything for assassinate, so at the moment just a single point for the Death Guard as we move on to the Sisters, turn 1. After the command phase and movement phase for the Sisters, we need to start looking at some target priorities. So in the movement phase, the Retributors disembarked and came up this flank of the battlefield along with the Immolator in support. The Rhino with the Repentia in advanced and came to sort of cover and do a bit of movement blocking towards this area of the battlefield to try and protect somewhat some of the Sisters behind from the threat of the Blight Lords that are bearing down on them, so to speak. A slight shuffle with the Exorcist here. And then towards the centre of the field, the Sacrosancts, the Canoness and the Palatine just again started to make movement towards the mid-table. The small squad of Battle Sisters advanced this way to start holding this objective in later turns. And then on this flank, the squad of Battle Sisters moved up and round, again maintaining somewhat cover and potential line of sight blocking if they can. And the Penitent Engines advance up the field because they can advance and charge. So hopefully at the end of this turn we'll have the Penitent Engines in close combat with whatever we decide out of these 3. And then the Ex-Sisters here shuffle, but what we did from a Sisters point of view is this unit of Plague Marines here was probably the potential threat really in terms of tying up the Exorcist if it managed to do a 5-inch move, plus if it managed to get a 12-inch charge, suddenly it's tying up the Exorcist. So we kept that one back a little bit, knowing that over on this flank none of the tanks are in too much danger at the moment from being tied up and nullified in terms of shooting. So we need to think about some target priorities. I think on this flank over here, there's obviously the three threats for different reasons. The two are the Plague Burst crawlers. They've got non-line of sight firepower. They can easily start to make inroads into some of the bodyguard units over here, which obviously in later turns, if that happens, exposes those characters for assassinate for the Death Guard. So where possible on this first turn, we want to try and bracket or get rid of, or at least bracket the Plague Burst, so we're hitting on higher dice rolls. And obviously the other thing is we've got the threat of the Terminators here, which I think if they're left to their own devices, could certainly cause problems for all the units down this side, and then be a real struggle to get rid of this no man's land objective, with every chance of potentially advancing onto the objective into or our deployment zone. So quite a lot going on. I think the first instance is I'd like to, from the sisters' point of view, I think we'll try and overkill, if we can, try and overkill the one of the crawlers to begin with. Just put everything we can into it, and just take our time unit by unit. So we'll start off, as for the miracle dice at the start of the thing, by the way, we rolled a 6 and a 1. The 1 was for the imagifier, so that needs to be used by the end of this turn, or that'll go back into the pool. So we will start off with the Retributors, and everything will go into, I think, this first Plague Burst crawler. So the only things we'll be able to hit really, I'll just do a quick distance check. I don't think that flame is going to be in range of this crawler. I'll just check. No, so it's just a whisker out. So it's just a whisker out. So the plan at the moment is to put everything from this Retributor squad into this Plague Burst crawler. But I'm going to spend a CP on exceptional proficiency or something like that, which gives me +1 to the attack roll. So for the phase. So I'll do the multi-mounters first, which means they're now hitting on 2s. So all hit. Strength 4 versus strength 8 versus toughness 8, so 4s to wound. That is 2 wounds straight onto the demon save. Makes 1, fails 1. I think yeah, I'll spend the 6 out of the pool, which is reduced to 5 because of the reduction of damage. So that's 5 wounds onto him, onto the Plague Burst crawler so far. The heavy bolter, should be heavy 3, I believe. Yeah. So again, hitting on 2s. Running on 5s, so 2 wounds at -1. 1 goes through, so that's a further 2 damage, reduced to 1 damage. So that's 6 so far. on the Plague Burst Crawler. We'll have a pot shot with the Superior, which hits and wounds and fails. So that's 7 wounds gone through so far on this Plague Burst Crawler. I think now would be an apt time to definitely spend those 2 cherubs and fire the multi-melters again. So again, as it's still the same phase. So hitting on 2s, or hit, wounding on 4s. Again, another 2 wounds, and I get a reroll for Argent Shroud. Oh yes, don't forget that. But didn't make a difference. Okay, and they both fail. So Death Guard player's got enough CP to do a reroll, and that passes. So let's see what the damage is. For a further 4, for 3. So that is 10 wounds put on this Plague Burst Crawler. Certainly has bracketed it, which is better than nothing. Okay, so I'll mark that up with the dice there, and have a think what to shoot next. So the front 3 from this squad can see the Plague Burst Crawler, so we're going to take our chances. But they all miss, which is fine. I can reroll, which hits, doesn't wound. Okay, so moving on from that, staying down this flank here, I think we're going to split fire. So we're going to put the heavy bolter into the Plague Burst Crawler with 2 wounds remaining. Actually, no. Everything from the emulator is going to go into this second Plague Burst Crawler. See if we can do some damage on that again. We are looking to either nullify it a bit for the second turn, see if we can get rid of these on turn 2. Ideally, it'd be great to get rid of at least 1 in the first turn, but we do have the Exorcist left to fire, and it can see both, I think. So from that point of view, I think so. So we'll have a think. So anyway, we'll put the emulator. In fact, let's put the emulator. It's probably overkill, but let's put the emulator into this. We want to see it dead. So at least got rid of 1, and then maybe nullify the second one. Like I say, we try and overkill something if we can. So trace of fire, as Beard would say, trace of fire, and it will hit. 5 to wound, 1 wound. That is fine. Okay, so multi-melter, and so all 3 hit. Let's wait for the wound roll. 4s to wound. Let's re-roll that last one. For Argent Shroud, that's 3. 3 on 5 up in runs. Okay, so not even with a re-roll, which he's already had this phase anyway. So 3d6. Okay, only just. So 2, 1, so 4 damage. Does he explode? No. Okay, so that at least is 1 unit brought down for the Death Guard. So the next unit to shoot is going to be the Exorcist, and we're going to put everything into the plate burst crawler here. So again, we'll start off with some trace of fire from the heavy bolter and 2 hits, 1 wound, which is fine. Okay, so now we'll do the 3d3 for the missiles. Oof. Okay, so 4. So hit on 3s. Okay, strength 8, I think it is, against toughness 8. Just bear with me a second. Yeah, so strength 8, toughness 8, so force to wound. And we use an Argent Shroud reroll. So 3 wounds, 4, 5, 6, very nice, at -2. So 3 5-ups. Okay, it gets 2, d6 damage for 2, reduced down to 1. Okay, so after all of that, literally pinged 1 wound onto the plate burst crawler, but I guess 1 is better than none. So with all that in mind, we'll move on down to the other side of the table and have a look what's going on down there. So I think down this side of the table, the sacrosancts and everything else are not in line of sight of anything. They're not going to be able to see those poxwalkers. This squad of battle sisters advanced, but can take some pot shots maybe at the bloat drones or rhinos. This squad of battle sisters will see what they can see, but again, it's probably some pot shots at one of the bloat drones. Now these penitent engines, ideally, you just have to think about, they seem on paper quite beat sticky. We're talking, according to the data sheet that I've got, they have got 4 attacks on, but if you've got 2 buzz blades, you can get, I think, an extra attack, something like that. If it's equipped with 2 buzz blades, it has casualties of 5. So, okay, so 5 attacks, strength 5, the buzz blade is +3, so strength 8, -4, 2 wounds. So, yeah, you're straight onto a demon save. So we've got every chance here at 2 damage each to pop that rhino, potentially. If a couple of them attack that, pop it open and get to the units inside. Maybe take out a drone as well, at the same time, maybe 9 wounds. So I think that we're going to probably I think at this point I'm going to put all 3 sets of flamers into 1 drone and soften it up, because it has a 5-pin run and you just never know. And then try and pop the rhino at least. So, because again, if we can, you've suddenly got a 10 wound, a 9 wound, plus a 12 wound, we can get some early points on the board for bring it down. So, I'll have a look. So I think the first thing we're going to do is start off with the Exorcist, actually, and try and see what we can do with the Exorcist first. We'll put everything from the Exorcist into the Rhino, I think. I was deliberating about this Plague Marine squad here, which has also got a good chance of trying to get rid of some infantry, which are going to be hard to shift by the sisters on their own. So I'll come back to you. So half a cup of tea later, I think I made the decision. So I think we're going to go and stick with the original plan. I think of everything into the Rhino from the Exorcist, Penitent engines into one of the bloke drones, and then see what we can finish, see what's left after that, and for combat. So, so 3d3 shots from the Exorcist. In fact, let's do the tracer fire again from the bolter. So hitting on 3s, and strength 5 to the 7, so wounding on 5s. Argent Shroud, no, I'll leave that. So 1 wound. Actually, it fails. So that's 1 wound on the Rhino. So 3d3 shots from the Exorcist missile launcher. That's better. So 3, 5, 7. Again, hit on 3s. Ooh, not bad. So strength 8, toughness 7, so wounding on 3s. And do an Argent Shroud reroll. So 5 wounds at -2, I believe. Yeah, so 5 wounds at -2, so 5 ups. Ooh, so I make 2, so that's 3d6. It could pop it at the outset, so it's got 9 to get through. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Does it blow up? No. Okay. Let me just sort the squad out that are inside, and see what we end up with in terms of the number. So 7 guys inside, and they all survive. So I'll get them set up and remove the Rhino. So we've got all the guys out and done a little bit of screening. So we're protecting that bloke drone somewhat, because if we can get that up and over into these lines, it'll start causing, it's got the potential to wipe out big chunks of the squads. So we want to try and see if we can screen it somewhat, at least one of them, maybe sacrifice one. We can't get to that character, although we might be able to charge him. We certainly can't fire at him at the moment because we've got the vehicle in the way. So but if we can try and get ourselves to a point where we've either contesting this objective, because currently it's going to be under the Death Guard's control, if we can begin to at least contest it by clearing some of these down through combat, we may have a chance of just nullifying some of the Death Guard's points for turn 2. So we'll start off, this Penitent engine is going to go into that bloke drone there, and try and soften that one up slightly. So 2d6 for 6, also hits, 5 to wound, and an Argent Shroud reroll. Okay, so 3 wounds at -1, of which 1 wound goes through. So just pinged a wound. I think we're going to send the other 2 into that squad of Plague Marines there. So the middle Penitent engine for 7, 4, 6, 7. Strength 5, toughness 5, so 4s, and 1 reroll. So 3, 5 at -1. So 5 4-ups. Ooh, that's 2 dead Marines. Not a bad start. So I'll mark those 2 skulls. And the last Penitent engine into the same squad for, again, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. And an Argent Shroud reroll. Okay, so again, another 5. Not bad, not bad. So 3, 4, 5. And another one pops his clogs. So 3 out of the 6 that are in that squad. Not bad, I'll take that, I think. So I'll see if there's anything left to shoot, what can see, what's in range. If there's nothing, we'll move on to the combat phase. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these are basically 3-inch charges across the board, whether it's this into there to get within an inch, that into there to get within an inch, here as well. So I think at the moment the possible plan is to this penitent engine at least to go into the bloat drone. I'm debating putting these 2 into that squad there, because 5 attacks, hitting on whatever, it's got every chance of missing out on getting rid of that squad. So I think at the moment, and then I've potentially got a chance to keep these units away from the blight spawn. So I think, again, a bit of overkill. These 2 into the Plague Marine squad, this into that. So we'll roll the first one into the bloat drone with an 11. That should be in very nicely. The middle one into the Plague Marines at 8. That gives us a bit of movement, so we'll have a look at that. And the last one, just okay. So with them all in, I'll move them in and we'll look at combat. So neglecting to use as much as I of the movement as I could have done, I've kept these penitent engines out of the way, if possible, of the foul blight spawn around the back here, by keeping them out of 3 inches. So you can't set the enemy unit and make them fight last. So not that it's too much of an issue, certainly with the drone against this engine, but there's a couple of strats we can use from the Death Guard point of view to certainly cause a few issues on these engines. So I think what I'll do, I'll start off with this engine into the Plague Marines, because then I don't think, if I can get rid of them, I don't think it's going to be worth a Death Guard player paying 2 CP to interrupt. So okay, so we'll start off with what was a middle engine into the Plague Marines. So the first set come in, so it's hitting on 4s, and I get an Argent Shroud reroll, which I think I'll use yet. Okay, so 3 hits, wounding on 3s, so 3 wounds at -2, I think. Let's hang on. Nope, that's -4. They go straight through and do 2 damage each. So that's 1, reduced by 1. So that kills 1 Plague Marine and puts 1 onto 1 wound. So that's half of what is left is taken care of. So I don't think, because to do anything against those engines, the Death Guard's player's got to probably spend 2 CP to interrupt, another then couple of CP on trench fighters or creeping blight or something like that to get 6s to go straight through, all that kind of stuff. And I think by the time we spent 4 CP, maybe even 5 CP, I can't remember now, just to deal with some penitent engines, a 55-point model. Don't know. I don't think that's going to be a good use of half of what's left of the Death Guard CP. So on that basis, on that justification, I don't think I'll pay to interrupt. So that second engine's going to go in to the Plague Marines that are there. Okay, so 4 hits. Yeah, I'll leave that. I'll save the reroll. 3's to wound. Oh, there you go. So they go straight through. So that is 1. That's 1 dead Marine. That's cleared that Plague Marine squad. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. And so the last engine into the bloat drone. And I will use an Argent Shroud reroll. Okay, so that's 4 hits. Strength 8 versus toughness 7, so 3's to wound. So 3 go through, 3 Fabric Demon saves, of which 1 saved. So damage reduction again, as 2 wounds go onto the bloat drone, leaving him with 7 left. I'll remove the Plague Marines, do a bit of consolidation, and see where that leaves us. So, at the end of the Sisters' turn, I think a pretty good opening salvo by the Sisters. We've managed to crack open the Rhino and get rid of the Plague Marine squad that's inside it. So we have managed to get rid of the objective secured on this objective here. I need to have a look at what is in range of it. I still think it's going to be under the Death Guard at the moment because of the number of models that are there, but again, it's just something that we've certainly got rid of the objective secured element for now on that area there, and getting rid of one of the Plague Burst crawlers certainly helps. So it's looking like about, I think, certainly 5 points for bring it down, but we've not managed to get ourselves into this table quarter because of how I've consolidated these guys in, which is fine. We'll save that for the next couple of turns. We can start to hopefully get into the 3 table quarters, possibly even 4 if we play our cards right. So at the moment, there's no points on the board for the Death Guard, but we're looking at, I think, 5 points on 5 points on the board for the Sisters of Battle. So a pretty good opening salvo. So end of battle round 1. So let's move on to battle round 2. At the start of turn 2 for the Death Guard, we've just completed the command phase and the movement phase, and just a slight bit of shuffling going on. The Foul Blightspawn has advanced forward to try and start getting into the enemy lines over by from the Sisters' enemy lines over there. We have just come forward with this squad of Plague Marines, same with this squad of Plague Marines, but again screening off this back line here from any potential deep strike, and brought the Death Shroud forward along with the captain to potentially enter into the fray here against the Penitent engines. I did debate whether to move some of these flyers away, but I think dependent on whether the Death Shroud make their charge, not too sure that either one of these engines will be here too much longer because of the output from the Death Shroud. So it will at least free that one up to move on to the next onto the next part of the sector battle bit over here, over the into front of the Sisters. The Malignant Plaguecasters brought himself forward. The Poxwalkers stayed where they are, as has the Plague Burst Crawler, but the Terminators are starting to make their move to try and get in a cheeky charge against the Rhino and crack it open with those Repentia that are inside. So there we are. So that's the movement phase done. So we'll go on to Psychic. I think the Plaguecaster will chuck a smite over towards the Penitent Engines, and then possibly Miasma of Pestilence on a unit, just in case, depending on where those where we deep strike the Seraphim. But for now, let's just do the smite into the, I think the closest one will be the Penitent Engines, which goes off for 2. I'll mark that up. I don't think is within 12 for the additional mortal wound. So I think yeah, we'll do the Miasma of Pestilence on the Poxwalkers, which also goes off. So they're now -1 to hit. So not a bad psychic phase. So on to the shooting. So we'll start off over here, and as Assassinate is one of our secondaries, we want to try and start maybe whittling away and getting us access to the Canoness and the Palatine that are over here. So we're going to start chucking everything into the Sacrosancts. So D6 number of shots, and we'll spend a CP on Disgusting Force. And we'll spend a CP to re-roll that. Okay, so 1 shot. Hits. Wounds. And kills a Sacrosant. So everyone within 3, so we'll start with the Palatine. Nope. Canoness. Yes, she takes a wound. Okay. Let me just measure up and see about whether the Plague Burst Crawler is in range of those Retributors. It certainly is. So 2d6 shots for 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Strength 6 versus toughness 3, so 2s. And re-rolling the 1s. Okay, everything goes through, so that's all 9 at -1. 2, 6, 8, 9. Oh dear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be the squad then. And there's a heavy slugger was going to go into those as well, just in case it those heavy slugger shots just hit the corrupted, diseased floor where those battle sisters once were. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll move on round to the Terminators. So I'm going to need a lot of dice for this. So we're going to go everything from these Terminators into the Rhino. So I'll come back after I've done those and give the results. So after the volley of shots came in, we pinged a couple of wounds off the Rhino. So we'll go now for the Blight Launcher into the same target. 1 hit, 1 miss. Strength 6, toughness 7, so 5s. No wound. Okay. So working our way around here, we'll then do this is a vehicle, so we'll do the Plague Spewers into combat. So the first of the bloke drones for 7. And we're rolling the 1s. strength 6, I think toughness 5. Let me just check that. So yeah, so it's 3s to wound. So 5 wounds at -1, so 5 5-ups. Which she makes 1 and 5s. That kills the first penitent engine because it had 2 wounds remaining after the smite. So that's 1 of those removed. The second bloke drone into the other penitent engine that it's got for 10. 5, 10. So 3s, rerolling 1s. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8. Further 8 wounds. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it takes 5. So 5-ups. No, kills another. Okay, good shooting. Well done. So moving on to the Foul Blightspawn. Put everything into this squad of Battle Sisters. No, into the Sacrosancts behind. Again, trying to, as much as is possible, try and get rid of those bodyguard protecting the characters, because we've got 1 character, 2 characters, 3 and 4, so there's good amount of points there to be had if we can get rid of them. So number of shots, which is re-rollable because of his relic. I don't think we'll bother re-rolling that one. We're not in contagion range yet, but it's strength 6, toughness 3, I believe the Sacrosancts are. Let's roll anyway. Re-rolling the 1s. Oh, very, very good. Okay. So that's -1. So 5-ups because they got a 2-up, 4-up. Okay. They withstand all of that gooey nonsense coming out of the Blightspawn. Excellent. Okay. Okay, so there's 2 more things left to shoot really. We've got this squad of Plague Marines down here, which the only thing they're going to do is they're going to put as many as is eligible into that Canoness there. Start scoring points for Assassinate. And then this squad of Plague Marines is going to put everything into this Exorcist up in the top corner. So we've got all the dice lined up and get on with the Plague Marines over here. Okay, so first off, the volley of bolters. Oh, it's a good job. There is a captain nearby. Let's get rid of those 2s. Get out of here. Okay, so 6 hits, 3s to wound. So 4 wounds, no minus. She takes a wound. Okay, mark that one up. She's taken 1 wound. And now the Blight Launcher. Both hit. The Blight Launcher, certainly both wound. -2. -2, was it -3? -2, so she's fine. Okay, so she takes a wound. And so the Plague Marines pinged a wound off of the Exorcist with the bolt rifles, so with the bolters. So the Blight Launcher is not within 6 this time, so and it will be 5s to wound, rerolling 1s. No, nothing there. So 1 wound off the Exorcist. So that's the shooting done. So across the board here, we've managed to get rid of the Retributors. That was a decent threat to get rid of here, because I think another round of shooting from them probably would have popped this Plague Burst Crawler and brought them round ready to start laying paint into some of these Terminators. So that was really, really crucial to get rid of those. A good amount of shooting from both the bloke drones to get rid of the penitent engines here. And it's just a shame. Maybe a change of target would have been, could have picked up an easier set of points there if I'd have put the blight spawn into the Cannon S. But I was hoping some of the backup shooting from these guys, she has only got a few wounds and she has a 3-up save, but is toughness 3, so I was kind of hoping to get a few more off there. But look, it's the long war, there's still 3 more rounds to go yet. So that being said, I think we'll move on to charges. I'll get some stuff measured up and then come back. Okay, so measuring up, and I think the Death Shroud are a 4-inch to get them within an inch of that penitent engine, so we'll roll for that now. Okay. Yeah, because I want to start fortifying that. It's a 9-inch charge for the Blight Lords into the Rhino, but I want to start fortifying one of these no man land objectives. I've got a lot of stuff over this side, so it may as well be this side to fortify. That was the plan. So it'd be good to get certainly the Death Shroud onto that. So let's re-roll that. Yeah, so they're on. And so now it's a 9-inch charge for the Blight Lords into the Rhino. Oh yes indeed. Okay, so we'll start off with the Death Shroud, and we're going to start off with the champion who has the Reaper of Glorious Entropy. So makes him a bit of a beat stick. So it's going to be hitting on 2s. Okay. I'll just check. I'll see whether he is within 6, because I'm not sure he is. Nope, he most certainly is not. So, after all of that, but he is wounding on his strength times 2 with the Reaper of Glorious Entropy. So, strength 4, so he's wounding on 3s, but actually he's wounding on 2s because they have reduced the toughness of that penitent engine down by 1 because of contagion. So wounds -3, so doesn't get a save. It's 3 damage. So but the penitent engine has a 5-up feel no pain. No. So he takes 3 wounds. And so now the other 2 go into him. All hit. And they are strength 5. They're doing... Oh, okay. I need to re-roll that. They're -1 to hit as Man Reapers. Let me just do that again. Oh no, they all hit because they're all 3s. No, sorry. Yeah. So they all hit. And they are strength 7, so wounding on 3s, re-rolling on 1s. Okay, so all wound. And the Man Cleavers are -3, so no save. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 5-ups. Oh, it wasn't bad. That's 1. Yeah, he's dead. Okay. Okay, so as you can see here, there's quite a number of attacks going into this Rhino. There will all be 5s to wound a minute. I don't think I need to spend CPs because I've got the sheer number of... I've only got 8 wounds to get through. and I'm pretty certain I can crack this rhino open. So I'm going to start with the axes. So this many axes, hitting on 3s, not bad. No re-rolls, there isn't any lords or anything nearby. The axes are giving them strength +2, so they are 6, but the versus toughness 7. So 5s re-rolling 1s, and the 1 to re-roll there. So it's 1, 2, 3 wounds to get through, and it is a -2, so 5 ups. Okay, so it takes 2 more. These are damage 1 weapons, so Rhino has 6 remaining. So now we've got the swords. And again, the swords are hitting on 3s. Not bad at all. Running on 5s, re-rolling the 1s. Okay, so 2 more. I think that is got a slightly different profile, which is -3, so 6s. Makes 1, fails 1, so it has 5 remaining. Can the flail take out the rhino? So 3s, 6s re-rolling 1s, so 5s re-rolling 1s even. So 2 at, I don't think you can kill it now, so 2 at -2, so 2 5-ups. No, 2 damage each. Leaves the rhino with 1 wound remaining. Okay. That's a predicament and a half, that is. Okay. Alright, I'll have a think about that. But that, there's nothing left to... Oh, the rhino can return some attacks. I think it's now down to 1 attack, which misses. Excellent. So that concludes the Death Guard turn. We've got ongoing combat here, although that rhino really should be dead. But we're now securing this objective, so we've got a good blob of really, really tough 4-up invuln, 21 wounds to get through there onto that objective. We've then started to castle up on this objective as well. We've got the Death Shroud, we've got 2 bloat drones at the moment, so that one's castled up, and we've got the Poxwalkers back here protecting the home objective. So I think the sisters are gonna have a fight on their hands to start whittling down some of these objectives here. Hopefully in later turns we can start to make inroads, but it's going to be difficult, I think. We did discard the Imagifier's Miracle Dice, and we did roll a 3 and a 6 for the start of this battle round, the 3 being the Imagifier, 6 being for the Canoness. So yet to use them, but let's see what this next turn brings up. So at the end of that turn, the Death Guard have engaged on all fronts. They've held on to the vital ground to net them 3 for vital ground at the start of their command phase. They're in this table quarter, that table quarter, and they are not quite wholly in the far table quarters. They're certainly in 3, not quite 4 yet. If they'd have blown that rhino up and consolidated forward, then that would have clinched them the full 3 points on that. But not bad for a Death Guard turn so far. So we'll move on to Sisters, turn 2. Okay, so that took quite a while, but we've managed to start bringing some of the Sisters into a bit more of a play. So we brought the Canoness back, again trying to deny points and screen her off a little bit from anything. So she's within 3 of a vehicle, so she's, again, can't be targeted at the minute anyway. So The Repentia disembarked and we advanced the Rhino. It got a mighty 5, which gave it a 8-inch move. We shuffled these sisters around a bit. We advanced the immolator into that table quarter. We advanced these sisters here to get them onto the home objective, and the plan is to just try and keep that and took out of the way. And the Sacrosancts and the Canoness and Palatine started making inroads into the middle of the board here in an effort to see if they can start making moves and pincer move onto this no man's land objective here. So there's quite a lot that needs to go off. If I can make inroads on this flank here, I haven't brought the Seraphim down yet, quite frankly, because they were pretty well, believe it or not, screened out with where everything ended up. They weren't going to be effective where I wanted them to be. So I've kept them off the board for now, but obviously I've got to bring them down regardless next turn. So there's a couple of clutch things that have got to happen here. So that's the end of the movement phase. And let's go on to the shooting phase. So we may as well start working our way up the board this way. So we'll start with the immolator here, and we'll start off with some tracer fire. Everything's going to go into this plague burst crawler. I've got 11 wounds to get through. If I can get through it, then it's going to net me another 3 points on bring it down. So we'll head off with that, give that a start. So tracer fire hitting on 3s, 2 hits, wounding on 5s, no wounds. Okay, so now the melters. Oh my god. I'll spend a CP. Okay, so 2 hits, force to wound. Okay, so it must have been all that fast driving. Okay. So we'll go on to the Exorcist, and I think I'm going to have to be forced to spend 2 CP, getting me down to 6 remaining on Devastating Refrain. Actually, I can still see it. I don't think there's any point spending that 2 CP. I'm not going to do anything out of line of sight at the moment because I can still see it. So let's give it a go. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so 3, 5, 6 shots. Okay, so hit on 3s. Okay, it's going to be hard. Okay, wounding on 4s. I think this is blessed, or maybe these are cursed. I don't know. I'm not sure which way it is. Okay, that did not go as expected. Right, okay. So moving our way round to this squad of sisters here, everything will go into those Blightlord Terminators. We'll do the flamer on camera, but the rest will do off because there's loads of bolter shots. So, okay, D6 shots for the flamer, 3, 2 wounds, 1 wound goes through. Okay. Bringing ourselves round to the centre of the board here, and need to get this blight spawn out of the way. So I'm going to put everything from both the Sacrosancts and the Battle Sisters into him. So we'll start with the Sacrosancts. 7 bolt pistols. Just check the hit on 2s or 3s. Yeah, definitely 3s. And strength 4, toughness 5, so 5 to wound. So 1 wound, no minus. And do you know what? I'm forgetting my Argent Shroud reroll. So he's fine anyway. So Argent Shroud reroll for the wound. It did wound. 5 up demon save. It makes anyway, so it makes no difference. And Argent Shroud reroll for the Exorcist, which wounds, doesn't save, d6 damage for 5 reduced to 4, so that has taken 5 wounds. So must start remembering it. So d6 shots with the flamer into the foul blight spawn for 4. Okay, so strength 5, I think it is. Or is it strength 6? Where are you? Strength 6 versus toughness 5, so 3's to wound. So it's 3 wounds at -1, so 3 4-ups. Okay, so takes a wound. So that's 1 wound on the foul blight spawn. There's 3 remaining. And all of these bolter shots. So 3s. It's not too bad. Okay, 5s. So that's 4 so far. 1 for Argent Shroud. Nope. Okay, so 4. And no minus. And he takes 2 more. He has 1 wound remaining. Okay. Not ideal, but I'll take it for now. So the Image of Fire into the blight spawn. 2 hits. 1 wound, Argent Shroud. 2 wounds, no minus. Can she finish him off? No, is the answer. Okay. So last off, the Condemn the Bolt Gun from the Canoness. 1 hit. Oh no, let me just check what ballistic skill she is. It is 2s, yeah. So 5's to wound. Argent Shroud reroll. No, nothing. Okay, so he's pretty much alive. So we will move on to the Exorcist. And the Exorcist is going to put, I think we're going to have to put everything into these are Plague Marines. Annoying, and lots of them. Are they a squishy target? Hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. Or do we go for these guys and try and get a high volley of shots? Who knows? Let's have a think. So get a high volley of shots, 4 up invulns. I think I want to try and get rid of these and give myself Okay, I'll have a think. Okay, so the plan is to try and soften these Death Shroud up. I could do with getting rid of them. So as we're down here, we will do 3d3. 3 shots actually with the bolters, heavy bolters. Wow, okay. Right, fine. I'm not using those dice again. We roll 1 for the Canoness. No, doesn't matter anyway. So 3d3 shots for the Exorcist missile launcher. So 5. Okay, not bad. So hitting on 3s. Rerolling the ones for the Canoness nearby. Okay, so wounding on 3s. Argent Shroud reroll. Oh, you are kidding me. Okay, so 2 4-up invuns. Okay, makes 1, fails 1. They add d6 damage, so does the Death Guard player want to spend a CP? It's got some, so why not? Yeah, it makes it. Okay, so that pretty much concludes the shooting from the sisters right now, and that's absolutely not gone according to plan. That's still there, and they're still there. So I have to do this the hard way. So we're going to declare a charge from these sacrosancts into the Death Shroud, these sisters into the Foul Blightspawn, and the Repentia and Repentia Superior into Blightlord Terminators. Now, we'll do the Repentia and Repentia Superior first, because it's only a short charge. So, Repentia, which they're in for an 8. The Superior, she's in for a 9. Okay. So what I'll then do is I want to guarantee that. I want to try and get as many into those Death Shrouds as I can. So I'm going to spend the 2 miracle dice to get them in for that charge there. And this charge for the sisters. So I'll move those, and then the sisters into the Foul Blightspawn, which should be in, but gets a movement of 5. So I'll move all those in, and we'll start the fight phase. Okay, so starting off down here with the Death Shroud, we've got the Sacrosancts going in. I've spent 2 CP, 1 for adding 1 to the hit roll, and then 1 for -1 to the wound roll if they're being attacked. So these are hitting on 2s. Okay, not ideal. There's no Canoness around to re-roll the 1s. So now these are wounding on 3s. Should be Anointed Halberd +3, so 7s. Wounding on 3s. Oh, that's not bad. So 3, 6, 8. 8 wounds, 8 4-up invuns. So 4, 6, 8. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4 go through, and they are 1 damage each. So it kills 1 and puts 1 down to 2 wounds. Okay. So not bad so far. So we'll take away that one and put him down to 2. And then we've got the Superior. So hit on 2s. Oh. And again, wounding on 3s, I think, with the Spear of the Faithful. Yeah. Okay, so that's 2 wounds, 2 4-up invuns. Oh, okay. And that kills 1, kills the remaining 1, and puts the remaining 1 down to 1. Oh no, so no, that kills the last one because it's 2 damage each, minus down to 1 damage each. So that kills that second one. So not bad going so far. That will certainly help matters. On to the sisters here into the Foul Blightspawn, which is 9 attacks plus there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 because of the Sar Superior having 2. So hit on 3s. 5s. 3 wounds, no minus, but 1 wound to get through. Okay. Okay. Yeah. First off, note to self, done that wrong. Right? He would have nominated that Battle Sister squad. They don't get to fight first. He does. So let's do that first. I believe he has 4 attacks. Let me check. Yeah, he has 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. Okay. Really on 2s. Yeah. I would have killed 1. So, that would have been 1 less attack coming in. So, given the fact he's passed 2 out of those 3, would that have made a difference? 1, 2, 3. He dies. 4, 5, 6. He lives. Okay. Okay, so now we've got the Repentia going into the Blight Lords. Let's see what we can do here. I mean, ultimately, if they get demolished in combat, we do gain a miracle dice back after spending the pool that we had. We haven't killed a full unit yet, so we don't even get to gain 1 back because... Oh, we have. We killed the Blight Spawn. So let's just roll for that now. And we got a 3. So I don't think we're going to kill the Blight Lords. But we'll give it our all. So they're Zealots, so they re-roll all hit rolls and they're hitting on 4s because of the unwieldy nature of that massive chainsword. So not bad so far. So only 6. And we gain 2 more. Okay. So 3's to wound. No, that's not bad either. So 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 4-pin buns. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's 1 dead Terminator, 2 dead Terminators. Because of the damage reduction. So, not bad. So now the Repentia Superior. So she has 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s. Okay, so 3 hits. No wounds. Okay, so 2 Blight Lords down. It's better than a kick in the shins, but let's see what happens when they fight back. Okay, so we'll start off with the flail going in. Everything is basically hitting on 3s. We're only on 2s, re-rolling 1s. So start off with this with the flail. Okay. 2s, re-rolling 1s. Okay. So that is 4, 5 up, feel no pains. Nope, so that's 4 gone. The swords, hitting on 3s. Re-rolling, and winning on 2s, re-rolling 1s. So it's 3 more. So it's 2 more gone. And then 7 axes, 6, 7. 4 for the champion, 1 for the Blight Lord. So 2s, rerolling 1s. Whoa, hang on a minute. Okay. So 4 more. No, that is the squad. And for that we get a miracle dice. Hey! So, that's Repentia gone. Repentia Superior is left, but we'll do some consolidation, and that will be the end of the turn. So we're back in a couple of minutes. 1 minute, didn't fight back with the Death Shroud champion, so he gets 4 attacks. Hit on 2s. Okay, he's not within 6. I'm sure he hits on 2s. Hang on. Yeah, he's been alive that goddamn long. He ought to be able to. So wounding on 2s, re-rolling the 1s. Re-rolling that 1. So yeah, 3 wounds on the 4-up invuln for the Sacrosancts. Oh, they bossed it, absolutely. Okay, right. So after consolidation and removing of some of the models, again, we're hoping to do some damage down this flank, and getting rid of a couple of Terminators is fine, but it's not long before they start to run rampant in the lines, and if we're not careful, this flank is going to collapse completely. Which may mean we have to start diverting the Sacrosancts over along with the Canoness. So, which is not the ideal situation. We'll have a think about it. We'll see what the Death Guard do on their turn. But either way, Repentia have gone, netting us a miracle dice, and we've destroyed the Blightspawn, which counts as a unit, so we net another miracle dice. So hopefully they'll start piling up in the start of the next battle round, battle round 3, and start to hopefully make a difference for the sisters, because although there's 2 units to come down, we're starting to get thin on the ground a little bit here. We've managed to get engaged on all fronts for 2 points by having the Immolator over in there. And we're starting to, it was a good result getting rid of 2 of the Death Shroud. That does make a difference, because the ones in front of them now are bloat drones and Plague Marines, which, fingers crossed, they can start to make short work of if they survive this next round of combat. So let's see. With that, we'll move on to Death Guard, turn 3. So at the end of the Death Guard's movement phase, we've moved the squad of Plague Marines up on this right hand side flank. We've moved Captain Trips up, hopefully to try and engage in combat with these sisters here. We've moved the bloat drones 1 over to start trying to whittle away the bodyguards in front of these characters, and also 1 over here to start putting some hurt on to the Canoness, and maybe even take out the Imagifier in combat. So we'll see. So there's every potential for at least 3 points on Assassinate this turn. We've slightly shuffled the Plague Burst Crawler, and we've also moved the Blightlord Terminators around the Repentia Superior, again looking to make short work of the Battle Sisters in front of them. So again onto the psychic phase. So nearest unit here is the squad of Sacrosancts, so we're going to smite those. Which goes off for D3. 3. Now there is a stratagem you can use, I think, against mortal wounds. Just let me check. Yeah, faith is our shield. So for 1 CP, taking me down to 5 until the end of that phase, each time a model in this unit would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound. Roll 1d6 on a 4 up, that wound is not lost. So let's see if it's a command point well spent, shall we? Oh, okay, we'll save 1 and we lose 2 of the sacrosancts. So I'll then, I think I will use, I think I'm going to use Curse of the Leper on that squad. See if I can get rid of them. Sort of freeing up that Death Shroud Terminator. Because now they're going to be toughness 2. So it's going to be 3s, 4s, 5s and 6s. So it could wipe the squad. I think that's going to be the plan. Yeah, let's do that. So this needs a walk charge value of 6. So that's the closest enemy unit within 18. I think. Let me just check. Yeah, it's definitely them. So warp charge of 6. Oh, doesn't go off. I'll spend a CP at this point. Try and free up that unit. The Death Shroud just goes off. Right. Okay. So 7 dice. 2, 4, 6, 7. And we're looking for 3s. Okay, so we take out a further 3. That's 5 gone in total. Right. Okay, so that's not a bad psychic phase for the Death Guard. So I'll remove the models and we'll head on to the shooting phase. Okay, so we're on to the shooting phase now. So we're going to start with this bloke drone here, which we're going to put everything into this canoness that's just in front of him, because he can now get to her because she's the nearest model. So Lookout Sir won't apply in terms of shooting her just because she's near a vehicle. So it'd be all shots from the plate splitters going into her. So 10 shots. So strength 6, toughness 3, so wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s. Those 2 to reroll. Okay, so all 10 go through at -1. 3, 5, 10. Okay. And not bad, but even with a reroll, she's dead. Okay. So that's 3 points for assassinate, and we get a miracle dice for losing a character, which is a 5. That'll do. Okay, so now moving round onto this squad of Plague Marines here. The 2 from the Blight Launcher are going to go into the Exorcist. 1 hit, 1 misses, and doesn't wound. Okay, and then we've got all the shots from that can see anyway, going into this squad of Battle Sisters over here. But they are going through dents, so it is -1, so we're hitting on 4s. And that isn't bad shooting at all. By now it is they're in contagion range, so wounding on, so strength 4, so wounding on 2s. And that is 5 wounds, no minus. So 5 3-ups. And we lose a battle sister. Okay. So I'll get that lot removed, and then we'll move round on to the next squad of Plague Marines. So if we're going for this squad of Plague Marines into the Battle Sisters as well, so that's going to be 5 Marines hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, because there's a lot of contagion nearby, and that's a good job because there's a lot of 1s. Okay. That's not bad shooting at all. Okay, so wounding on 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8 wounds, no minus, so 8 3-ups. If we can do that, if we can oblige. And we lose 2 more from that squad. Okay. So the Blight Launcher, I'll just make a note of 2. The Blight Launcher hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s for the Lord. Okay, wounding on 2s. And no save, so it kills another. Okay, so that's 3 gone from that squad now. And we'll move round onto the bloke drone. So this bloke drone is going to put everything into these sacrosancts, because again we're trying to whittle down the protection in front of these characters. So for 11, okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So again, because of contagion, it's going to be wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s. And those 3 1s to reroll. Okay, so all 11 wound. 3, 6, 10, 11. So 11 3-ups. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, not bad, not bad. We miss 2, so 2 perish. So remove those. So coming around to the Terminators, we're going to split fire. We're going to put the Blight Launcher into the Exorcist, which is just over here, and try and get some pot shots off on that. We're going to put one of the Terminators into the Repentia Superior, and then we're going to put the rest, the other 2 that have got bolt guns, storm bolters, sorry, into the sisters that are here. So we start with the Blight Launcher. So it's 1 hit, 1 miss, 5s to wound, no wound. So if we go into the Repentia Superior, that's 3 hits, wounding on 2s, that's 3 wounds, no minus, and she takes a wound. Okay, I'll make a note of that just there, don't let me forget. And then the rest into the Battle Sister squad. Let's see what we can do there. So 1 miss. Again, because of contagion, we're 2s to wound. So 3, 6 at no minus. 3, 6. And we lose 2 from that squad. So the Repentia Superior takes a wound, and we lose 2 from the Battle Sister squad. So the last thing left to shoot is the Plague Burst Crawler, which we're going to put everything into this squad of Battle Sisters here and see if we can get rid of them off this objective. because that is the sisters' home objective, and if we can get them out of that, it's denying them points, both on the primaries and on vital ground for the secondary, albeit a point, but still. So what we'll then do is, so the plague burst, the mortar will go into the battle sisters on the home objective, and the heavy slugger will go into the sisters that are here, and try and get rid of some more of those. Okay, so start with the heavy slugger, and that is a heavy 4 here. So 2 hits, running on 2s. So it's 1 wound, -1. So it kills another sister. So that's 3 gone in total. Number of shots for the mortar is 1. I'm going to spend a CP on that one, and it's a 2. That's 100% better. Amazing. So hitting on 3s, it's still not bracketed. Running on 2s, re-rolling the 1s. Okay, so that's 2 wounds, 2 5-ups. Nope, so there's 2 sisters gone from that squad as well. Okay, so we'll remove those, and we'll move on to the charge phase. So the charges we're going to make across the board here are going to be the bloat drone into the imagifier, and see if we can get lucky and get rid of her. This bloat drone is going to charge into the sacrosancts, and again try and tie them up, but also get rid of them, because on the counter they've got 9 wounds to get through, so it's quite a chunk. The Terminators into this battle sisters, and lastly, can Captain Trips make it in? In fact, we'll do him first, and the rest will probably just do off camera. So he needs an 8 to get in. Definitely not with that. So I'll spend a CP to re-roll it, because everything's pretty much okay with the rest of them. Oh yeah, he's most definitely in. Okay, we'll re-roll the rest off camera and come back for the fight phase. And with that re-roll, Captain Trips is in. The bloat drones are in. And scarily, the Terminators are in too. Okay, so although we've got CP to interrupt, so I've put my sister's head on, I've got CP to interrupt, I've got 5 left. I genuinely, at the minute, I'm not necessarily thinking it's worth doing. Maybe with the sacrosanct, but it's 2 CP to take down a bloat drone, which is obviously CP for VP, but I've got to think whether it's a sensible use of those 2 CP or not. Yeah, I need to have a think about that. Okay, right, moving on to the fight phase. We'll start with Captain Trips over here, and then work our way around. Okay, probably come back for the sacrosancts. So see you in a bit. Okay, so Captain Trips gets 5 attacks, because we're probably going to go for the cleave attack. So, although, to be fair, right. So we've got cleave, -1 to hit. Okay, or we've got ×2 hits. If I'm looking at the sisters and they've got a 2-up, 4-up, I've got more chance by doing 10 attacks of getting rid of those 2 sisters with the scythe. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So that's 10 attacks, hitting on 2s. Okay, so all but 1. Wounding on 2s, we're rolling 1s because of plague. There's 3 1s. Okay, so now these sisters have got 9 3-ups to make. So it just gives those volume of rolls, which are going to be a problem for them. So 9 3-ups. Here we go. Okay. Oh, let's be super cheeky. Why not? We've only got 5 CP left. Let's spend 1. Yes. They bossed it. Now that is not what I was expecting. I was expecting out of a volume of 9 to really drop 3 of them, maybe 4 of them, to be honest. So that has made me pretty happy, I must admit. That's very funny. I like that. Right, I'll do the rest off of camera. The bloke drone's going to go into the image of fire, and the Blight Lords are going to go into the sisters. And what I'll possibly do is come back for the Sacrosancts, hitting back on the bloke drone to see if we can do much damage there. So, see you on the flip side. So just before we start the fight backs, the image of fire is down to 2 wounds. We lost another Sacrosant here, but as predicted, the whole squad was wiped by the Battle Sisters. But because that Rhino's there, they couldn't consolidate and tag this unit. The Exorcist is going to be the nearest enemy model, which would be the Rhino. So the Blight Lords chose not to consolidate on this occasion. So we start the fight back with the Sacrosancts. So there's 3 Sacrosancts and the Superior. So there's 6 attacks coming in from the Sacrosancts. So, all hit. Okay. Strength 6 they would have been now, so it's +3 with the Halberds. Against toughness 7, so it's still 5s to wound. I wonder if I will make them. No, it doesn't matter. It's fine. 5s to wound. Of which there are 4 wounds onto the. So it's 4 wounds onto the demon save, of which 2 go through. So it's got 7 remaining, and then 3 from the Superior. So it will hit. 2 wounds, and again on a demon save, and both go through. So that's 2 damage reduced down to 1 damage. So it's lost 4 wounds. So it's got 5 remaining. So now we'll go on to these 2 Sacrosancts here, and they're going to put everything into Captain Trips. No, save him. He's going for the death shroud. Let's get rid of his bodyguard. So 1 hit, 1 miss. Wounds. So 4 Pinvun, which it makes. And then the Superior, all 3 hit. All 3 wound. Ooh, and all 3 fail. So do we spend a cheeky CP? Why not? Just to be super annoying and keep him alive. Yeah. Yes. So he's alive with 1 wound remaining. Okay. So now he gets to strike back. He's got 4 attacks. He's the captain, the champion, and all hit. Reroll that 1. All 4 go through, so that's 4 inbuns. Can they stay alive again? Yes, they can. Yeah, they are angry. They want it. Okay. So now the image of fire into the bloat drone. Let's see how that gets on. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. Wounding on 6s. Nope. Okay. So at the end of all of that, that's quite a devastating blow. This flank down here is pretty much collapsed. There's not much left here. We've got the Rhino, which is on 1 wound. We've got the Exorcist, which is on full wound still, and a Repentia Superior. So this flank is in desperate collapse. However, the Death Strike, the Blight Lords moving off of that objective, will mean something for the next command phase for Vital Ground. Let's see what that brings. It might be a little bit too late for the Sisters by then, but we'll see. Because at the moment, if we're going to the Sisters command phase, this objective is now contested because of the models that are on it. So they're only going to get 5 points for the primary. So let's see what happens. Okay, so at the end of the turn 3 for the Death Guard, they didn't manage to wipe this other image of fire. I was hoping 4 attacks with -2 might sort of, it's not unknown. So I was hoping to get the 6 there, but it's looking like just the 3. So, but all round, not a bad showing for the Death Guard. They're certainly starting to fortify this. It won't take much to get that squad of Plague Marines up here, start fortifying, maybe even bring a bloat drone back. Again, putting vehicles and stuff over the objectives along with characters, along with troops, really fortifies the position. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of turns. But for now, on to the Sisters, turn 3. At the end of the Sisters movement phase, there's a few things that have gone on. There's some thunking to do. So what, as a Sisters player, what we did was we moved the Repentia Superior up over the objective, and then managed to advance the Rhino in front of her. I'm trying to do some movement blocking against these against these Blight Lords. We then advanced the Exorcist back out of the long distance charge range. Admittedly, they can charge into those Sisters potentially, and then consolidate on and tag the Exorcist, but that's a risk we'll have to take. So we moved the Immolator around a little bit. We then brought the Sacrosancts out of combat with a view to charging them back in using a stratagem, depending on what's left. If we're going to try and target and destroy this castle on this, or prevent any more castling up on this objective here. So we've remained in combat over here and with the bloat drone, but we've moved the Canoness round and the Palatine round, and we've also activated her Miracle Blessing. So units within 1 inch will inflict mortal wounds on a 6 to wound. So that bloat drone's got 5 wounds left, so hopefully with the number of attacks in here we can start to get some secondary points, because we've got a couple of points there, but a couple of points with this bloke drone, which the image of fire fell back from combat. We've also got this plague burst crawler left, so fingers crossed we can actually start to make some headway into the secondaries, because at the minute we're far enough behind to make this a pretty crucial turn for the sisters. The other thing is we've brought the Seraphim down. They had to this turn anyway, but the Seraphim have come down out of the skies to try and inflict a little bit of engage on all fronts, but hopefully an effort to try and remove these poxwalkers from this area here for the home objective. And if we can hold on to it, it gives us the option, it gives us the 3 points for vital ground. So again, some pretty key moves here. So we're spending a CP when we descend on deadly descent, so they can shoot if it's the shooting phase. So that'll be 9 shots, and they're going to go straight into those poxwalkers. So we'll see what we can do. Okay, not bad so far. So strength 4, toughness 4 nowadays, I think, for poxwalkers. So force to wound. That's less good. But 3 wounds. Do they shrug? No, so we lose 3 poxwalkers. So removing those poxwalkers from the front here, because of course I would, making that charge longer for the charge phase. So with that being done, we'll move on to the shooting phase proper, and we'll start off again. We're up this end of the board, so we'll work our way up this way. So everything from this immolator is going to go into the plague burst crawler. So we'll start off with the heavy bolter. Hitting on 3s. Okay, not bad. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound, which goes through for 1 damage. So he has 6 remaining. 2 multi-melters. 4 shots. In on 3s. Ugh. Saving CP, because I think I'm going to need it. Wounding on toughness. Wounding on 4s. Oof. Okay, that's rough. I've got 5 CP left. No, plenty more shooting to go. Okay. We will go for the Repenti Superior. I'll just check how many shots she's got. She's going to throw a crack grenade. So, which hits. Doesn't wound. Okay. You need to die. Right. So, decisions. Well, let's make some decisions. We'll just fire this squad of Seraphim into this squad of Marines here. Okay. So 3, 6, 9. Okay. So hitting on 3s. Not bad. Wounding on 5s. Not too bad. So 4 3-ups. Kill 1. Not bad. Not bad. Nice shooting text. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna fire everything from this Battle Sisters squad here into the Death Shroud Terminator. So there'll be 10 shots from the bolters and then the heavy flamer as well. So start with the 10 shots from the bolters. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Nothing around them, so hitting on 3s. Okay, not too bad. Winning on 5s. So 2 wounds. Oh, look at that. If there was a palatine nearby. Oh. So 2 wounds. No minus. He's fine. Heavy flamer for 4 shots. Winning on 3s. So that's 3 wounds. 3 3-ups. And takes another wound. Did he take 2? I've got 1 down there. Normally that's how many they've got left. I think, I might be wrong on this, but I think that kills the Death Shroud. So we're going to spend a further 2 CP on Devastating Refrain for this Exorcist here, to put everything into this Plague Burst Crawler here. So, because you can fire out of line of sight, so let's do the 3d3. Okay, so 5. Need to make all these count. So 5 shots hitting on 3s. Cananes is well out of range. Anyway, so strength 8 versus toughness 8, so force to wound. Oh, 3 wound. Now that could be significant. So 3 5-ups. Fails 2 of them. I'm going to spend a CP for the Death Guard. Nope. Fails. That's 2d6. So in my pool of miracle dice, first off I'm going to use is that. Okay, which is a reduction down to 5, and the other wound has only got then 1 left. So that does take care of the PBC. Does it blow up? Yes, it does. Okay. Let's see what it gets. So, you can guess what? Yep, gets them pair. So does the rhino blow up? Come on. Yes. Okay. Right. Let's see what it, see if it could. Oh, that would be amazing. Oh, I don't think it would kill any of them. Let's D3 on those. Let's see what it does. Okay, 2 mortal wounds on the Blight Lords. Brilliant. Great stuff. Okay, I'll remove all of that and come back. Okay, so that was pretty chaotic, and we also put 2 wounds on the Immolator as well, so I've marked that up. So I will then do this Exorcist into that bloke drone to see what I can do there, see if there's anything that can be done. So we'll do 3d3. Okay, so 7 again. Sorry, 5 again. 3, 5. Hit on 3s. Well, not bad. We're only on 3s. Okay, so 3 on the demon save. Okay, so 2 go through, so 2d6. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, so 5 and then 1. So 6 wounds taken on the bloat drone, so it leaves it with 3 remaining. So the heavy bolter, all 3 hit. Heavy bolter, no wounds. Okay, so 3 remaining on that, on the bloat drone. So I'll mark that up and come back for this squad of Seraphim to fire again, because they fired in the movement phase. Okay. So again, this Seraphim squad are going to fire into the Poxwalkers. It's going to give them, if any survive, which they probably will do, it's going to give them, they'll be out of charge range. But for the following turns, with this squad being relatively far out, and then the immolator now free, because this target down here is this bottom corner, this side for the Death Guard has started to collapse, because the Terminators are well out there, making advancements onto the Sisters' home objective. Then every chance in turn 4, 5 to really make damage onto this area, depending on whether the Plague Marine, Death Guard player starts bringing these Plague Marines over. So there's a fair bit to do. Anyway, hitting on 3s, not bad. Winning on 4s, ooh, not bad. Okay, so 4 wounds, 4 6s. Nope, no shrugs, so another 4 go. Okay. So on to the charge phase, and we're going to spend another CP on these Sacrosancts for Fanatic, so they can fall back and they can charge. You get the option on that stratagem to either make them Zealots to re-roll hits or something. Anyway, by the way, Fanatics, they can re-roll, they can charge back in to combat. So we'll charge in with those 2 Sacrosancts, which definitely, and we'll charge in with the Battle Sisters, and again they get into Captain trips here and try and swamp this objective. Another couple of charges here, so for the Canoness and for the Palatine. The Canoness is in and the Palatine is also in, so you get yourself within half an inch of a Sacrosanct there. So that's really it. We will try over here. It's an 11-inch charge into these Poxwalkers from the Seraphim, so let's give it a go. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. At 8, that's not enough. No, not in the CP. Okay, so we'll move them all in and come back for the fight phase. Okay, so we're going to start with the Canoness into the bloat drone, and again I kind of been forgetting things as usual. The thing for this army is the passion, so 6s explode in combat, and I keep forgetting to re-roll that Argent Shroud, so I must remember it. So she gets 4 attacks, she's hidden on 2s, she's got the Blessed Blade, and she's got the relic that gives her +1 strength and attack, I think it is. +1 strength and damage characteristics with this weapon. So she's also, the relic allows her to re-roll all hit rolls and wound rolls in melee. So anyway, let's put them into the bloat drone and see what we get. So looking for 6s, hitting on 2s, looking for 6s to explode. Okay. So we get 2 extra hits there, which is tasty. Okay. So now we are strength 6, because she's strength 3. She gets +2 for the Blessed Blade, +1 for the relic. So strength 6, any 6s to wound, inflict mortal wounds in addition. So it will be strength 6 to 7, so 5s to wound. Okay, so not bad. And she gets to re-roll all the wound rolls as well. So she'll re-roll those 2. Okay, so 5 go through and 1 mortal wound in addition. So we've done 1 wound, so reducing down to 4. And I've got 5. Let me just see what the AP is. -3, damage 2, but plus with the rapturous blows, it's then damage 3. So each failed save is 2 damage. So 5 5-ups. So that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 damage once the reduction goes through. So, does he explode? No, he doesn't. Okay, so she's bossed that and she's done that all on her very own. So, do I want to pay 2 CP to interrupt? Yeah, I think I do. Okay, so paying 2 CP to interrupt, I'm going to put all the blows into the sisters, not the sacrosancts, because I want to go again for reducing the number of hits that may come in, and just, you know, the sheer volume of it may trigger a couple of wounds off of him. So we're going to go for the scythe. So that's 2 attacks, and plus it gives him no minus to hit on that one. So 2, 3, that's 3, 4, 5. So hitting on 2s. Oh, wow. Wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s. Okay, that was a 1 on the floor, but we'll discount that. Okay, so as it happens, it was a 1 in the tray too. Okay, so they all go through. So that's 10 wounds on those sisters at -1. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 4-ups. Here we go. It's not bad, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the squad. They're all gone. So as they hear Captain Trips scream forth a roar and swing his Man Reaper, they just see 6 of their sisters cut down in front of them, and with a scream from their own lips, they charge in and put all their attacks into him and try and bring him down. The scourge of the sector. So the first sacrosanct goes in, hidden on 3s, but hidden on 3s and 6s explode. Okay, so she gets 3 hits from 2 attacks, not bad. So 3s to wound. Because she's got a plus, so +1 strength from the imagifier for units within 6 inches, and so that will make her strength 6 plus, that's strength 6, strength 7, so still 3s to wound. Okay, so no need for any re-rolls there, so that's 3 wounds come through on to his 4-up invuln. Oh, he takes 2. Okay, so 2 wounds down, put those over there, and 3 from the superior. Oh no, only 1 hit. Oh, we get to re-roll 1. Yes, 2 hits. increase the wound. There's 2 wounds again onto his 4-up invuln. Okay, makes 1, fails 1. So it's taken 3 wounds. I think he has 3 remaining. Okay, we'll mark that up. And so with that marks the end of the sisters' turn. So not bad going all round. They get themselves back into the fight as such. They are up to about 29 points to 34, not including painting, obviously, at the minute. So, but the battlefield is looking pretty scarce. There's not much left. From both sides, it's been pretty big carnage. So, but a good turn for the sisters. They've managed to whittle down 2 out of the 3 remaining vehicles. They've managed to get rid of the Death Shroud Terminator and make a couple of wounds on Captain Trips. So let's see what the Death Guard have in store for turn 4. So we're getting into the twilight of the game now. There's not much left, so we'll. But it's still a close game. There's only 5 points in it so far at the start of round 4. So the Death Guard picked up this objective. I think is contested. So they're only on this home objective here. So they pick up this one plus vital ground for this one, so that's only 6 points. So they're on 40 points right now with the sisters on 29. So this again is probably a turn for the Death Guard. If they can do what they need to do, they'll limit any chance of the sisters really getting back into it. So they also did the stratagem for bringing Poxwalkers back, the Dead Walk again, and all 7 came back. How annoying is that? So, but very cool. So, first things first, we're gonna cast a smite from the Malignant Plaguecaster into the Sacrosanct, so we can get rid of these 2 that are being bothersome to his Lord and Commander. So smite, which goes off for D3 for 2, so it kills them both. So not a bad round there. So what he'll then do is he will do Curse of the Leper onto the squad of Sacrosancts you can see around here. Again, try and whittle that bodyguard away. So does it go off? No. Let's spend a CP. And no. Okay, so CP well spent. But still, it's freed his lord up to do what he needs to do. So, yeah, it's a result at the end of the day. So, shooting wise, just to go through what the Death Guard player is going to do, we're going to go this bloke drone advanced over, didn't use a full advance, but got himself into a position where he's being super annoying and is on that objective. So if the charges all come off, which they should do, they've got themselves into a 4 or 5 inch charge range, it should be okay. So he's going to put everything, he doesn't want to eradicate that and then not let these Blight Lords get in. So these are going to be not the subject of any shooting at the moment. So bloke drone into the Sacrosancts. So 2d6 for 6. Okay. 2, 4, 6.
So hit wounding on 6, toughness 2, so wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s. Don't need to. So -1, so 6, 3 ups. Oh, not bad, I'll take that. We've just lost the 1. Okay. So now everything from the Terminators is going to go into the Exorcist. So all the bolter shots. Fives. Oh, that's not bad. So 3 ups. And it takes a wound, so make a note of that. And the Blight Launcher. 2 hits. Blight Launcher. No wounds. Rerolls at 1. It's a wound. 5 up. Ooh, 5 up. It's fine. Okay. So then we're going to come around to this squad of Plague Marines here, which are going to split their fire. So everything from bolter wise is going to go into the Imager Fire. So we'll get rid of. So we'll do that one first. And then the Blight Launcher is going to go into the Exorcist and just try and chip some more wounds off. So hit on 3s. Strength 4, toughness 2, so 2s to wound because of the contagion range. 4 wounds, no minus, we need 2 to get through, so let's see how we get on. She takes another wound. Okay, so she has 1 remaining. So, the 2 Blight Launchers shots into the Exorcist. 2 hits, no wounds. And so now, lastly, this squad of Plague Marines is going to go into the Seraphim here. So, again, all the bolters, hitting on 3s. Not in any range of any lords to re-roll. They're not. What are they now? What's round 4? So 1, 3, 6, 9. Yeah. So 2s to wound. So 5, 3 ups, 3, 5, and 2 are slain. Okay, so we'll move the 2 that are nearest to them just to extend that charge somewhat. We can be just as annoying back. Okay, so shooting phase, that's pretty much it. Quick and easy on that one. So we'll have a look at what charges there are, what we want to make, because it's a bit of a spicy one. You know, I don't want really the Lord to move off of this objective now until something else reaches him, because otherwise, even though he might slay the Imager Fire, is limiting turn 5 potential, 10 points, and maybe, depending on how it goes, full 15 because of hold more. So we'll see. Okay, so let's have a look at the charges and I'll come back to you. So I think as a Death Guard player, I think what I want to do is actually a couple of things. One, try and get rid of this squad here to ensure that we limit any engage points. And then the other thing I want to do is basically tie up this Exorcist. Then they're 2 bonuses. If I can tie the Exorcist up, then it limits what can shoot. But over here, I think I've now got the option to try and castle up on the Sister's objective over here. So actually by putting Terminators and drones, although he's only got 3 wounds left, he's still got a 5-up invuln, he still reduces damage by 1 and everything. So he's still a toughness 7 unit. So yeah, I think that's the 3 charges we're going to make, which could really limit the sisters' any chance of coming back. Will be Terminators into the sisters here, into the Exorcist, and into the Seraphim there. So the Seraphim charge is 7. So nope, but I don't know really what I you know, the chances of rolling a Snake Eyes is going to be low for those Terminators, but still. So 7 for the other Plague Marine squad, which they get in. So I'll move those in. And now for the Terminators, they get just what they need. So I'll move them all in and we'll start some combat. So Plague Marines surround the Exorcist and all the flail, the plague knives and everything come out. So we'll probably we've got some CP left, spend a couple of CP, so we'll come back to that one and see if we can really do some damage on this Exorcist to cripple it. I think 10 wounds to get through is going to be a lot, but let's see what we can do. But over here, the Terminators, once they've done their piling, surround the sisters on their home objective. So we spent an absolute bunch of CP to see what we could do to this Exorcist. So we gave them trench fighters, so anything with a knife gets an extra attack, to give us that many. We then spent the creeping blight, so anything on a 6 to wound is -4 AP, so it goes straight through onto the 6-up invuln. And then we spent another couple of CP on Eternal Hatred, so it adds 1 to the wound roll. So if we go for the knives first, so hitting on 3s, it's not bad. So 4s to wound now rather than 5s to wound, and in fact actually that's toughness 6, toughness 5, yeah. So it's toughness 7, it's now toughness 6 because of thing, so it will still be 4s to wound, and any 6s go straight through to the invuln. So that's 2 straight through to the invuln. They can disappear, and that was a 4 already, so 3 wounds. I think that was a wound as well. Only 2 ones, I think. So 4 wounds in addition. So you've got these at 4s, so 2 go through, and then 2 onto the 6s, and they go through as well. So it takes 4 wounds already, so that's 5 wounds in total, so 6 remaining. Now the flail. Obviously very not very accurate there. And no wound. So now the power fist. So forced to hit because of it being unwieldy. So 2 hits. So now it is 3s to wound because it would be strength 8 to the 7, so 3s plus 1, so it's 2s to wound. Oh, would you believe it? I'll spend the last CP. Yeah. So makes one, saves one, makes one, fails one, and that is 2 damage straight away. So that exorcist has got 4 wounds remaining, so not bad. It's crippled it, which is okay. So D3 attacks back. Oh, for 3. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Okay. So 1 takes a wound. Very good. So that will mark the end of the Death Guard's turn. So they're in this quarter, and they're in this quarter here. So we've got 2 points for engage, and we've managed to tie up an exorcist, so limit some of the sisters' shooting capacity in this follow-up turn here. So a few decisions to make really as to what to do. I think that's going to pull that exorcist, really is going to be out of the game in its entirety, because as soon as I move that, then those Plague Marines will just pounce on it again. So we've got some thinking to do. But that marks the end of the Death Guard turn. I'll put some points up on the board, and we move on to Sisters, turn 4. So here we are, turn 4 for the Sisters, and a few decisions to be made. Again, another critical turn for the Sisters to make this go right. So the Immolators advanced forward slightly to get line of sight through to the Blight Lord Terminators here. The Sexorcist hasn't moved any, because if everything goes according to plan, then we're at least contesting. We're doing something here. This Exorcist has stayed in combat, wrapping up the Plague Marines, so again they can't be targeted, but again neither can this. Pulling it back and doing anything with it, there's no stratagems. I don't think it's core, so I can't have it pull back and shoot or anything. So I don't think it is. Let me check. So no, even though there is a fall back and shoot, it's only for core, and the Exorcist most definitely isn't. So again, a bit of a clutch turn. So there's a few things got to happen this turn. So we're going to start off with the Immolator. We're going to start off with the Seraphim. This squad and this squad here are going to all fire into the Poxwalkers. So we'll start off with the first squad with 9 bolters. 3, 6, 9 bolt pistols. Hit on 3s. Wounding on 4s. Oh God. Argent Shroud. I remembered. 3. Okay. 1 then. Okay. And then 5 shots from the other squad. 3, 5. Not bad. Again, I'll save the Argent Shroud. It's Argent Shroud. So that was 3. Not the other one. And a further 3 goes. That's 4 in total from the Seraphim. So I'll just put a little 4 there to remind me to take 4 away. So bolt pistols into the Psyker. So there's 4 bolt pistols from the Sacrosancts. And re-rolling 1s from the Canoness. 2 wounds. I'll just try and reroll 2 wounds. And he's fine. Okay. So now we'll go in for the Palatine. So she's got plasma pistol into the Psyker. Hits. Argent Shroud reroll. Wounds. No save, so puts a wound onto the Psyker. So heavy bolters then from the Immolator into the Terminators. 2 hits. No wounds. Okay, so 3d3, so 4 multi-melters. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, typical. I will spend ACP. Yeah, so 2 wounds, so 2 4-pin buttons. Of course they do. Of course they do. Okay, so now the Exorcist into. So we spent 2 CP. So we spent 2 CP on the Imagifier as well. So we've got 1 left now after all of that. For Defenders of the Faith, so she can't be wounded on a 1, 2 or 3. Just in an effort to try and keep her alive a bit longer and hold that objective for us. So the Exorcist into the Terminator. I don't think that was choice. Try and do something here. Oh well, that's not bad. So 6, 8, 3, 6, 8. Hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. Well, yes. Hang on. No. Wounding on 3s. What about? Strength 8. Toughness 5. So wounding on 3s. That is not bad. That is not bad. So we've got 4 ups. Come on. Okay, so it kills 1 on 1 wound. And it's overkill, but I've got a 4 in the Miracle Dice pool. Because that's the end of the shooting phase anyway, so I'll burn this 4, and it kills another, so that's 2 down. And that is the end of the shooting phase. Oh, I can do the heavy bolters into combat here, yes. 1 hit. 1 wound. And he saves, so that's fine. So, okay, I'll remove the Terminators and we'll head on to the charge phase. So, as these advance for a Mighty 2, they won't be joining in the fun. So, we've removed the 4 of the Poxwalkers. About 8 left, I think. So, these Seraphim have got a job on their hands to try and clear this down. And try and hold the line here. So that's 1 charge, which I'm going to have to spend CP to reroll. 4 just gets us in. And then the other charges to make are going to be the Sacrosancts into the Plaguecaster. And they get in. and then it will be the Canoness and the Palatine into Captain Trips. Now she has a Quicksilver Veil, so does that give her anything or nothing? Right, I'm going to spend, let me just measure up and see what I need to spend on Miracle Dice. So I need a 6 for the Canoness to get in, and I need I think about an 8 for the Palatine to get in, given sort of some manoeuvres there. So I am going to spend these 2 Miracle Dice to get the Canoness in. I absolutely do want her in. And then we'll roll for the Palatine. Who doesn't? Okay, so we'll move everyone in and start the combat. So we don't have to worry about any interruptions. So we will start with this squad over here. So we've got 2 attacks each from the Seraphim and 3 attacks with the Superior. So we'll do the Seraphim first. Hitting on 3s and 6s explode. Okay, not bad. So 4 explosions. So there's 2. Those 2. Strength 3 versus toughness 4. So 5s. So 3 there, and an Argent Shroud. Okay, so nope, so 3 more are slain. It's going to be hard now with the Superior. So the Superior, 3 attacks. Will hit. She's got a Power Sword, so that will give her the plus whatever the Power Swords give them now. It's quite a bit, I think. Yeah, +1, so 4s. And I've done the Argent Shroud, so 2 more T-shirt saves. No. So 5 in total, leaving 3 Poxwalkers remaining, which is not how it should have gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. But they have done the Dead Walk again already, so that limits that. So we'll see what happens there. Might do us a favour, actually. So the Sacrosancts into. He's got 3 wounds remaining into the Psyker. So 2, 4, 6 for the Sacrosancts. So 1's exploded, so that counts. And we roll a 1. Yeah, it's fine. So toughness 5, strength 6. So 3s re-rolling 1s with Palatine. Re-rolling the 1s. Okay. So 4 wounds at -3. He saves 1. But that means he's dead, which is good, because he was super annoying. Okay, what would the Superior would have given them? Would have exploded, so that would have been that. 1 wound, Argent Shroud reroll, 2 wounds, Yeah, he's super dead. Right, excellent. So remove him. Ugh. Ah. Oh, I'll wait. Right, so the Canoness into Captain Trips. Can she bring him down? Can she get vengeance on him? So 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, 6s exploding. Okay, so she gets all 4 through. 3s to wound. Blessed Blade plus, yeah, so 3s to wound. Oh no, Argent Shroud. Oh, she has to re-roll all hits. Okay, because of the relic. So 3 wounds on his 4 pinball, and each with 2 damage be reduced from 3 damage. He has 1 wound remaining. Ooh. Okay, could be significant. Right, so she would have piled in, just so to be aware she didn't pile in, she would have done and brought herself onto there. So theoretically now there are 2 units above that, so that will deny the Death Guard those points on turn 5 if she survives. So the Poxwalkers get to hit back, so that's 2 attacks each. 2, 4, 6. Hitting on 4, 5s? What are they hitting on now? Poxwalkers. Yeah, hitting on 4s. Ah, okay. 2 hits, 1 wound, and the 5. So now Captain Trips. Now he is going to go for the full on. He's going to try and trigger her full pinball. So 4 attacks, -1 to hit, so 3 hits. We're rolling 1s. Okay, so 2 wounds on her full pinball. Makes 1, fails 1. 4, 2 damage. So she has 3 wounds left. And that is the end of the sister's turn. So now defenders fight first over here. So there's no CP left, but we're going to go and see what we can do. We've got 4 wounds to get through. So let's start with the flail. Not hitting like that, you're not. Okay, let's start with the... let's then go ahead onto the champion. So 2 hits. No wounds. Okay. So then 2, 4, 2, 3, 6, 8 on 3s. Really on 5s. Oh. 3 wounds -1. 2 go 3. 2 wounds remaining, so you really have crippled that Exorcist down. The Exorcist has 1 wound, 2 wounds, has 1 attack back. Doesn't hit. Excellent. So that now marks the end of the sister's turn. So they've managed to get rid of 2 Terminators, the Psyker, and get themselves onto this objective here. There's still objective secured, but let's see what we can do with those poxwalkers that are left. So there's very little left to do. Let's head on to turn 5. Okay, so with a couple of wounds left, we're going to try and finish this exorcist off in combat. The Lord of Contagion, Captain Trips himself, has stayed in combat with the Canoness because that's what he would do. The Plague Marines have worked their way towards this squad of Seraphim to finish them off. We've stayed in combat with the Poxwalkers, and we've brought the Blight Lord Terminators around off the objective, and we're going to leave the bloat drone on the objective there, but we've brought these Blight Lords round to try and start getting assassinate points. So with one wound left on her, but with can't wound on a above a 4 up, starts to, we need to get something for assassinate if we can. So that's the Palatine we're going for. So no psychic phase, so we'll come back for the shooting phase. So start off, it's going to be a quick shooting phase, this one. So we'll start off with this squad of Plague Marines into the Seraphim. So hit on 3s. And wounding on 2s. So 5 wounds, no minus. And another one goes. Another one is slain. And then we'll move on to the Blight Lords. There's 2 that have got combi bolters going into the Palatine. See if we can just soften up a little bit. All hit. And for 6 wounds, 6, no minus, so she's got a 3 up and a 4 up invuln, and she has got 4 wounds. She's now got 1 wound. Okay. Oh no. No minus, so yes. So she's got 1 wound remaining. So that really has softened her up. I think assassinate 3 points there is incoming, I think. So after that, we're going to charge these Plague Marines into that. That's pretty much an auto win, but we'll do it for distance. For 8, so they're definitely in, and we'll move those in. And then we need to get the Terminators in, so just don't roll anything rubbish. And with a 6, they're in. Okay, we'll move them in and go into the fight phase. So we'll start off with the Terminators. Into the Palatine, we'll start off with the Flail. So 3 hits. Running on 2s, rerolling 1s. And she's gone, not even with a reroll. So that's roll a miracle dice for her going as character, so get a 2. But that nets 3 points for assassinate for the Death Guard. So then we'll go on to this squad of Plague Marines here. So we'll start off with the Plague Marines themselves. So 1, 2, 3. So we'll hit in there. We roll any 1s. Okay, so 5 wounds minus 1. So 5 4-ups. And another one. That's some good rolling. So another one goes. Then we've got the cleaver, misses, and the champion. One hit, and the champion. Oh no. I've got a CP, yeah, why not? Okay. A 6 up invuln. Nope. So that's the Seraphim squad. So we'll move them through and then start defenders fighting first. Okay. So defenders fighting first, we will most definitely start with the Canoness. See if we can get rid of this bothersome lot over here. Okay, so hitting on 2s, 6s explode. Okay, no 6s that time. 3s to wound. Re-rolling all hits as well. Yes, I forgot that. So yes, okay. So all 4 re-roll. 3s to wound, re-rolling. Okay, so all go through. So on the 4 up invuln. So 4 4-ups. Okay. Makes it. So you may as well fight back. All hit. Re-rolling. Okay, 5 4-up invulns. Oh. So she takes 2 wounds, both 2 wounds each. So she is slain. We get another miracle dice for her, which is a 5. Okay. So the Canoness falls. So with that, we'll move on to the Seraphim into the Poxwalkers. So again, 2, 4, 6, 8 attacks, hitting on 3s, 6s exploding. No 6s, 5s to wound. 2 wounds. Come on. Kills 1. So 2 remaining. It's up to the superior. Argent Shroud. Yes. Ooh. Okay. That leaves 1 Poxwalker remaining. And that's all it takes. So, and then over here, so Poxwalker attacks back. Nothing. And now my Himalaya Exorcist. Nope. And now see if we can finish off those 2 wounds. The flail comes through. He inflicts the last 2 wounds. So does she explode? She does. Okay. So let's see what the mortal wound output. I think it is D3. So let's see what we can do. Let's be, so D3 for 1. Okay, so it kills that one on 1 wound. Happens to be the blooming flail as well. Okay. So that is the end of the death card turn 5. So I've managed to rack up 6 more points for assassinate, or 6 points for assassinate, by killing the canoness as well. So we'll put the points on the board and see what the sisters have got to do to stay in the fight and see where we can finish up. So right at the very last death for the sisters here. So we've moved this immolator onto this objective with a line of sight through to the bloat drone. We've moved the sacrosanct round with an attempt to charge and see if we can get that 1 wound off. The Lord of Contagion stayed in combat here with the Seraphim. So we're lined up for a last gasp attempt here. There's a lot riding on it. Obviously we don't score our points to the end of the turn, so let's see what we can do. So we'll start off with the immolator into the bloat drone. Start off with the tracer fire for the heavy bolter. So that's 1 hit, no wounds. Okay, so now 4 of the multi-melters. Okay, so 3 hits. Strength 8, toughness 7, so 3s to wound. Argent Shroud. That's 2 wounds on the 5-up demon saves. Let's see what we can do here. No. Okay, so we've got 3 wounds to get through. So first one for 5 kills it. Second one absolutely kills it. Does it blow up? Of course it does. Okay. Right. So I'll mark those wounds up. I think it is, if I remember rightly, the bloat drone is 1 mortal wound. So it takes a wound off of the exorcist. Bringing her down to 9 wounds remaining. But that's also 2 points for bring it down. So got about as maximum as we can get for bring it down against those 5 vehicles. So good. So it's a good start. We'll do the pistols into combat from the Seraphim. 3, 4, 5. 4 hit. Strength 4, toughness 4, Argent Shroud. Okay, so 1 wound. Come on. He saves it. Of course he does. Okay. So now the exorcist is going to fire. Doesn't really matter where she fires now. I think we'll just stay at what we can see. Let's go for the Blight Lords. They've been the bane. It'd be lovely to get rid of them. So heavy bolters, 2 hits, falls, 1 wound, 3 up. Oh, takes a wound. Okay, so leaves 1 with 2 remaining. And so 3d3 for 5, 3s. Okay, and strength 8, toughness 5, so 3s. So that's 3 wounds on the 4-up invent. And 1 goes through, so don't need to roll a 3 on this one. Excellent, so that kills one. So that's the exorcist shot. Kills this one in the middle here. Okay. Nothing else doing, onto the charge phase, and we'll charge the Sacrosancts in to the Lord of Contagion. And they're in. So I'll move those forward. Okay. So swinging back round here, there are 2 attacks for the 3 Sacrosancts each, and then 3 attacks for the Superior. So they get +1 strength because the image of fire is in range. So hitting on, and I'll spend a CP on exceptional proficiency, because I'm +1 to the attack. So hitting on 2s, 6s explode. Now that is more like it. So 3 extra hits. 3s to wound. So that's 4 so far. 5 and 1 Argent Shroud. Okay. So 5 4 Bimbans. And even with a reroll, he's dead. So they finally take down Captain Trips. Do they drag the body of the Canoness away with them? It remains to be seen. So a bit of consolidation by the sisters just a little bit forward, just to completely cover that objective. And now defenders fight first. That lone hero party walker, there he is, misses both times. I think he's drunk. So now fighting back with the sisters. Must make this count now. So 1 explodes, so we lose 2. This is just for the that's not the Superior, obviously. 5s. Let's do 5s. Okay, so 1 wound. Will he survive? No. And with that, that'll mark the end of the sisters' turn. So we've managed to get rid of the bloat drone. We've managed to cover this objective, this objective, this objective, and the 4th objective over there within the opposition's deployment zone. So we'll take the points up and see where that leaves us. So after everything, that was a really valiant effort at the end there, but still just fell short. There was 10 points in it, with the Death Guard finishing on 79 and the Order of the Burning Shield, the Black Watch, finishing on 69. So 10 points in it. And the turn that really hurt, was actually turn 4, where the sisters just scored nothing. They were out of the primaries. They were obviously then out of vital ground. They didn't score anything for Bring It Down. So that turn 4 was the turning point for the sisters. Really good game. Really enjoyed it. I thought very, very close. Again, another game under the belt with the Black Watch, with the sisters to to get to learn that army, and it's getting there, but still forgetting the re-rolls all the time. But it'll get there. On the whole, really enjoyed it. Sincerely hope you did too. And we'll see you on the next one.